Welcome to the Lovecars On The Grid podcast, your global motorsport roundup with me, Tiff, Needell and Paul Woodman.
Welcome to episode 41 of Lovecars On The Grid, your global motorsport roundup. What are we talking about today, Tiff? It's a Christmas week, so not a great deal going on, but it's still got lots to talk about with the FIA, with Formula One.
Yeah.
There's plenty going on there, and FIA as well in terms of what else? FIA Rally Cross, not Rally Cross.
What's the rally? I know I've got the hangover haze slightly still from Christmas, but my brain's still alive. You're reading the FIA is going through a very strange. Well, not strange, but odd period, because we had this election that was going to happen anyway when we got rid of the former Frenchman in charge, and then we got the new Sulayem, Todt, of course. But of course, as soon as he took over, which was always designated to be in December, he had the whole Hamilton thing in his face, that Hamilton not turning up. He had that problem to sort out. He's then found both Braun and Symonds have said they're leaving in the middle of this next year. And they're the ones that have created this new car. That sort of worries me that, neither of them have to work anymore, to be honest. They're both very successful designers. But it seems strange that they're going to walk out when they created these babies. I'm worried about the new regulations, which we won't know until they're testing and racing. So already, we're going to have the silly flaps. That's not going to go away, apparently, the wings, even though they're supposed to run closer. So Braun's going, so is Symonds. Then all of a sudden, his rally director, the equivalent of Masi in the rally world, Yves Matton, he quit. Now, so he's obviously not particularly happy with Sulayem, because Sulayem's a rally man himself. And one of the first things he said, apart from saying, we must punish Hamilton, if you break rules, you're punished. That was his first thing to upset the Formula One people, or please the Dutch Formula One people. And he then says, we need more manufacturers in rallying. We've only got 2.5 manufacturers in rallying at the moment, which is a bit of an insult for old Malcolm Wilson and his Ford-backed team, calling him half a manufacturer. And he said, he's done this road relevance. The FIA, they always had this, which Todt had that problem, and everyone, Mosley brought it in, the road relevance, because they do a massive amount of work for the, the car manufacturers, not just motorsport at all. They're completely involved with the rules to build cars. So Sulayem says we must have more manufacturers in. Well, this Matton bloke, he's been working on that for the last 3 years. He's the one that's brought these new hybrid cars in to be more road relevant. So he's sort of thinking, well, I brought them all in. He's actually saying to me, we're not going to get a new manufacturer till 2024 at the earliest. And Sulayem's sort of almost saying, well, you didn't do a good enough job, I think.
So they throwing their toys out the pram, or is it the FIA a bit of turmoil?
Well, it's just, I think FIA had a bit of turmoil. I think, Sulayem's come in at a very awkward time. So many of the new rally cars cause hybrid regulations, which are fascinating. But will they work or not? Malcolm Wilson at Ford said it kept Ford in going road relevant. They always love saying this road relevance keeps the manufacturers in. Who knows if it does or not. So we got that going on, but we'll go on to the rally cars in a minute because we've got some news about the World Rally Championship. So there's also a petition come out on Twitter now to get Masi sacked.
Oh no! How many signatures are they up to?
I don't know, but I can't believe he can stay. I mean, I think their argument would be there's no one better qualified, but I think he'll still be there.
Don't they know who you are, Tiff? Don't they know how qualified you are?
Yeah, but it's going to be so awkward if anything goes slightly wrong.
He can't.
I wouldn't have thought.
He did it.
Credibility.
Whether you're a Lewis fan, a Max fan, just a motor racing fan, he cocked up grandly, royally. Absolutely. He's got to stand down. I mean, it's the biggest job in the world in terms of motorsport. He's got to stand down. He's got to do the right thing.
He suddenly started using rules that suited him, but they were different to the rules that suited him in another race.
Michael, what are you doing? This is not right, Michael.
Well, he's apologised. He said we mustn't be allowed to shout at the race director anymore, which I agree with. I don't think the public needs that radio. Of course, Nicholas.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing as you. So Michael Masi, there's a petition to get rid of him on online, and also online. God, it's a horrible place sometimes. Nicholas Latifi's doing death threats online. What's it all about? He didn't mean to crash. He didn't want to crash. He didn't want to.
He was racing.
He's
a racing driver. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest racing driver. And I know that he's in there because his dad owns the company. But nevertheless, he's a former champion and he's a very creditable racing driver. And if only there were 30 cars on the grid, having privateers like him is what made it strong in the older days, the 50s, 60s, 70s. You always had privateers. It's just a shame there are so few seats on the Grand Prix grid, which sort of puts pressure on Latifis and that Russian kid to hogging seats. So, yeah, poor old Nicholas. I mean, he's a lovely guy. And he's a very worthy Grand Prix driver, and he doesn't need death threats.
But in fairness, the internet is can be a very dark place, because we get all sorts of comments.
We do.
Not on here, by the way. We get lovely comments on here. Thank you very much. But on the main channel, the Lovecars channel, but we laugh about it. And if I was getting paid £1 million a week or whatever these sportsmen are getting paid, I would laugh even harder, because But you've got to have a laugh, because typically the people that are trolling you online, typically they've probably got some issues. It's fair to say. Not just the general. That's a generalization, I admit. I've got a couple of stats for you, Tiff. I know you love stats. Formula One. So we've had a couple of negative things about Formula One. Here's a really lovely stat. In 2005 and 2021, do you know a 24-year-old driver won his first title, beating a 36-year-old 7-time champion?
You did a Crofty on me now. You know that you've got that to upset me, haven't you? You know that Crofty statistics drive me mad.
Beat Schumacher for the first time ever to become world champion, 7-time world champion. And of course, Max Verstappen beat Lewis Hamilton. I thought that was quite a nice one. Okay, you didn't like that one. I've got a better one. I've got a really, really good one.
Is this a Christmas quiz? Is this like a Christmas quiz you're doing?
Christmas quiz. Who got the most blue flags in the 2021 season? There's only one, but surely
the Russian boy.
Exactly, Mazepin. Nikita Mazepin, 234. And out of we'll sort of narrow it. Mazepin, Schumacher, but Schumacher 166. But then out of Bottas and Perez, who got the most blue flags? Here's a question for you.
Most blue flags for being lapped.
Blue flags. So being lapped, Bottas. So Lewis and Max were the only two that never.
That's got to be Bottas, hasn't it?
Yeah, but 8 versus 5. Bottas 8, Perez 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, lovely stats by F1 someone or other, but I thought they were quite good. There's loads of stats on their Instagram page, by the way, so check them out sometime. So
anyway, keep an eye on the FIA news. See what's happening with the FIA. Anyone knows what's happening with the FIA, let us know. Any insiders there? We like, like the government, all these little sneak stories leaked from the FIA. That's what we need. We need someone inside the FIA to leak things to us. But anyway, World Rally Championship coming up with the new hybrid cars. And there's quite exciting news that Sebastian Loeb's going to do it for Ford, for Malcolm Wilson's got to be. Only one off, maybe 2 or 3 off. So we've got Sebastian Loeb coming back with the Ford. It's the Puma now. They've changed no more Fiestas.
That's Monte Carlo, isn't it?
Yeah, 23rd of January. So it's quite exciting, because I'm interested to how all these new hybrid cars. We've got Craig Breen, of course, with Sebastian, and Gus Greensmith in the Ford. So it's quite exciting news for Ford to have Sebastian Loeb in your team. But these new cars, I mean, it's intriguing, because you've got this 100 horsepower boost from the hybrid element. And you sort of apparently charge it up at every service station. So you leave a service station full. You do get some regen from braking, like the Formula One cars, and you've got this boost button. But I mean, these rally drivers, I mean, it's a hectic world. The speed they're going through, these pace notes and everything else. I presume they have to sort of pace note when to hit the boost button. When the navigator, the co-driver, knows the straight end, it'll be, okay, right, over 1, tightens into, left, over, crest, boost. And they'll get 100 horsepower. But the sort of thoughts they're going to go through town centres on electric only and the service station on electric only. But of course, while they're still all new, the idea that if, the hybrid stops working in a stage, then you come to a compulsory electric only zone and you have to retire. There's a problem. If it doesn't work, it's not going to be simple technology, is it? Hybrid and boost buttons and everything else. They've got less suspension travel, so there's great wheels dropping. They've got simpler sort of shock absorbers and settings. They've got, the best bit, they've got no flapping paddles, I think. It's a pump. It's only a 5-speed gearbox, which I quite like. In Formula One, I wish there's only 5 speeds, because then it's that permanent gear changes you turn into corners makes the whole thing too easy. So having to sort of know what gear you're going to be in for a corner is quite interesting. No clever active centre diff. So there's more complexity with the drivetrain, but more simplicity with the chassis. So I'm actually quite keen to see how it all works out. And not only have we got Sebastian Loeb, because Sebastian Ogier is doing the Monte Carlo Rally for Toyota, but Alfred Evans' great rival, who's not doing the whole season again. So we're going to have the two Sebs, the two 8 times world champion and 7 times world champion. It was 8 and 9, I can't remember which, going head to head in the Monte Carlo Rally, new cars. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, I'm glad you are.
Oh, what?
Wow. It's nice to see Seb Loeb back, that's for sure. Sebastian Loeb back. That's good news. Can we move on?
Also, yeah, hybrids also a BTCC news. And that is quite exciting.
There is some news of BTCC as well, isn't there? With this super team, this new team.
Yeah. With the Napa, the American, because I mean, the trouble with touring cars that make BTCC, the drivers aren't all being employed to drive. You know, back in the 90s when I was in this amazing super touring, and every manufacturer was paying 2 drivers sort of 200 grand, 100 grand a year. And it was a wonderful time for professional drivers to earn a living in touring cars. BTCC doesn't have that yet. There's a couple of manufacturer drivers paid to be in the teams, but otherwise it's mainly drivers bringing sponsors and then taking a cut out of the sponsorship to pay themselves some money, calling themselves professional drivers, but in fact you're almost paying yourself. But the fact this new Napa, this amazing, it's American auto parts company, big in NASCAR since the 70s and 80s, because they're now with Chase Elliott in the team, the Chevrolet team in America. So it's been a big motorsport, and they're moving into the UK. They're bringing their auto parts business into the UK and using BTCC as a platform to launch it. So that's fantastic news for BTCC, because one assumes that Ash Sutton is now going to get paid, a professional driver, to come over to join, though he left the Infinity team. They brought Dan Camish in as the other driver who lost his Vauxhall drive, didn't he? Because he didn't have any money to keep in the seat. He did Porsches for a year. He'd been champion of Porsche before. He won the Porsche championship. So he's back in BTCC. So you've got a real heavy-hitting 2 very good drivers in this Ford team on Motorbase. So, and I think, you know, that's what BTCC needs.
So what happens to
it
Jake
needs
Hill?
those big sponsors.
Where does Jake Hill go?
Well, that's all gone quiet. Because the Infinity seat's been taken by someone, again, with a budget, a good driver, but Dexter Patterson has taken that seat. So Jake can't go there. There's rumours that he has got a top team seat lined up. So Toyota maybe, I don't know where he might go. So that's interesting. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on BTCC gossip. But I think that's fantastic for the series. But of course, they've got their hybrids coming. So again, that might not be so fantastic. Whilst they sort out all the little problems, there'll be niggles and some drivers' boost buttons not going to work in the middle of a race. And Jason Plater bring all the stats up. He loves it. My boost button doesn't give as much boost as other boost buttons do. I can see him doing all that. But
he's got more driver excuses than me, that boy.
Yes, he's lovely.
So that's going to be one hell of a dream team, isn't it? The Napa team.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Very good. So more sponsors to pay drivers to get the best drivers is what the series needs.
So can we get a sponsor? Can't we get a sponsor for our channel? We must be able to get a sponsor. You must know some people.
It's your job. That's your job. I don't know. I couldn't get. So I was used to getting sponsors all my life.
Napa. We got this lovely channel. We got a couple of nice people.
Yes.
We got a podcast and a main channel, and we're doing a TV show. Get all over the helmets and
yes, get onto Motorbase.
The race cars.
Give Motorbase a call.
Yeah.
Don't go direct. Always hate people going behind people's backs for sponsorship. Motorbase have landed the deal. Go to Motorbase. Knock on their door. Would you like a social media platform with a former touring car driver, Formula One? Anyway, so good news for touring cars. I'm excited about this stuff. Hybrids coming in, see how it all works. They won't look any different to the public, of course. You won't know they've got. And you won't know when they're pressing the button. There's a big light comes up. Probably need a big light on the roof, don't you? I've got my button on.
No, nothing like that. Now you're getting gimmicky. In terms of live racing, there's not much, but there is Dakar, which
yes,
yeah,
Dakar. I love Dakar. Always kicks us in January the 1st. So it's only this weekend, Saturday. You get the lovely. I'm changing my page. The lovely Carlton Kirby on Eurosport, and I love. He's more of a cycling man. In case he does Le Mans, and he's a bit out of his depth because he's not a big car historian. But Carlton sits in a studio somewhere each night. Before he gets fed a program, talk over these pictures, and he's got this lovely laid back, and he talks about the scene, and he's got all the news. And so I love listening to Carlton every night with Eurosport News. They have that Dakar Heroes section where people take their own videos and bring them in. And I just love the Dakar. The sad thing is it's not a big British thing. We've got hardly any interest at all in there. And obviously we do bias our programme to British things. Thanks, Max Verstappen fans, for reminding me of that. So there are, like, I've got stats for you, right? This is your Christmas quiz, right? There are nearly 500 vehicles, bikes, trucks, classics, buggies, tri-bikes. And of those 500, about 1,000 people are in them or on them. Because there's 3 in the trucks, 2 in the cars, obviously 1 on a bike, 1 on a quad. So out of the 500 vehicles and nearly 1,000 human beings, how many are British?
42.
10.
Wow.
I know. So I'm gonna a roll call here. So get watching Eurosport, listen to Carlton Kirby's. We do have one serious competitor, well, a couple of serious winners maybe. In the bikes, we've actually got 4 bike riders, but Sam Sunderland, who won it 3 or 4 years ago. So we've got real interest in the bikes. Sam could win it again. There's 3 guys further. I don't think they're potential winners, but a good shout out for Simon Hewitt, David Mabbs, and David McBride. Brave men. And when you see those Dakar heroes, you see them, it's dark, the professionals have finished in the daylight, they're in the campsite already, and then these amateurs out there, because there is a class where you have to service your own bike. And you see them doing 10 yards in soft sand and falling over, exhausted, and lifting it up again, and 10 yards. And I wonder how they ever get to finish some of them when you see them stuck, digging these vehicles out of the sand. It's just incredible stuff. In the cars, we have but only one competitive, 2, what have we got in the cars? 3 in the cars, 3 in total. Our best chance is the co-driver. Michael Orr is a co-driver for the Saudi guy, Yassid Al-Raji, in one of the Toyotas. So we might have a front runner in Michael Orr as a co-driver. But the only all-British team with British drivers is a bowler, big flag waving now, for Andrew Wicklow and Quinn Evans. They're in the bowler. It's the only all-British car and drivers.
And if you want to see the bowler, go to our Love Cars YouTube channel, the main one, because there's a good video of Ben Collins, the previous Stig, taking a bowler, around a little
quad bikes. We've got no British drivers in quad bikes. In the trucks, we've only got Simon Stubbs. Simon Stubbs, you're our only person sitting in one of the how many trucks is it? 58 trucks. And in the classics, we've got 1 classic car, 1 British entry with Richard Warts and Nicholas Shackleton. So that's it. So follow our 10 Brits. Watch it every night. It is wonderful. Of course, out front, it's been fantastic on Carlos Sainz. Sebastian Loeb's doing it. So he's doing the 2 weeks of Dakar from the 1st to the 14th of January. And then he's in the Monte Carlo Rally on the 23rd of January, isn't it? So he's got a busy month, hasn't he, wow. Sebastian Loeb?
Good for them.
I love watching. I think it's a great start to the year. And the scene and the shots they have. I mean, of course, it's not in Dakar anymore. It's in Saudi, but that's another matter. But the sand dunes are the same. They could be anywhere in the world. I just think it's an incredible adventure, which I would never, don't start doing a Love Cars campaign. There's no way I would do that Dakar. I mean, 10 hours a day for 13 days, getting sand in your sandwiches.
Sand everywhere, sand in every single orifice. And on that note, I think we'll look forward to rejoining next week with a bit less sand.
Next year, rejoining next year.
Very good.
Happy New Year, everyone.
That's a proper dad joke, isn't it? See you next year. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.